Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pentagon Challenge. Things have been going pretty well since I last saw you. We had a couple of little blips after the last game, but since then we've really turned it around. Helped in no part by a massive signing, which I think you're all gonna really appreciate. Let's go. So we'll kick things off with transfers, and our transfer window really kicked off with the sale of a player we weren't necessarily actively looking to move on, but we did. We got an £8 million bid for Levi Colwill from QPR, and you know what? We were more than happy to let him go. He was basically our second choice left-sided centre back behind Lewis Gibson, and we were more than happy, to be honest with you, to let him go for 8 mil, because it meant that we could really reinvest in a few key areas in the squad. So we brought in the likes of we did bring in some young players at the back, such as this guy Dean Finity. He is unhappy because we didn't strengthen strikers, even though we kind of did. But he's only young. He's 6'6" with a massive jumping reach and a heading of 13, and he's only 18. So he's someone who could really develop into an absolute unit at the back and going forward as well. I'm thinking about those near post corners. We signed. Oh, I told you we were signing Jamie Bino Gittins and that we were signing Marco Kana. Bino Gittins has done really well. He has scored. How many goals has he scored so far? 4. He's just recently come off the back of scoring a hat trick. Marco Kana, we cannot get a work permit for him. We tried loaning him out to see if we could, but we're really struggling. Chris O'Donoghue is a young player we've signed who can play midfield, right back, like right wing back. Cameron Sampson is another centre half that we've signed. He's another left-sided centre half. Got him from Cardiff, as you can see. Fairly big money, young, and again, plenty of room to develop. Kind of, I'd rather play someone like him or Finity at left back, at defence, rather than Levi Colwill, because they're going to get better. He wasn't going to get any better. Colin Aitken is someone we brought in on loan from Everton. He's got some unreal attributes for his age, and he's someone who's just here really just to add a little bit of quality and guile into that midfield. Leighton Clarkson has been really good since he joined. We signed him from Blackburn for 2 mil. As you can see, in 5 appearances, 1 goal and 4 assists already, and that's in the league. Really good go, and he scored in the Carabao Cup, I think, for Blackburn, obviously not for us. And then the big one is this one, George Hurst, our man from Swindon, for 500k. A little bit of a slow start, but since he's joined, he's now hit 7 goals, including he's got 4, I think, against. I can't remember who it was against. We'll have a look in a second. We brought in Yaroslav Plevka, who we had on loan at Swindon, just as backup for left wing back. And also we were able to get Karamoko Dembele in on deadline day on loan from Nimes. And yeah, he's someone who just adds a bit more quality on that right-hand side, a bit of depth with the games going thick and fast. In terms of outgoings, we also let Novakovic go and Mark Harris went. Mark Harris, just a reminder, was this guy. He was playing out on the left or up front, and Novakovic was our striker, and letting him go allowed us to bring in George Hurst quite comfortably, really. Femi Aziz went. We basically made back what we paid out for him, if not maybe a little bit more. He was someone who was okay, but wasn't great. Learned a few youngsters out, Matt Murphy and Nick Quinn, most importantly. Hopefully going to carry on developing somewhere else and come back ready to go next season. And then Tashan Oakley Booth was only ever going to be a rotation midfield option. We signed him for free and we got a bid for him from Peterborough, and we were more than happy just to take some sort of money for him as and where we could. So I last saw you when we played Burton in the league, when we won 1-0 through that 89th minute Josh Vella goal. We then played Birmingham and CJ Ramsden scored a hat-trick, really quite sublime hat-trick. We then beat Wigan 3-0 in the EFL Trophy. And then we lost to Ipswich 2-1 in the FA Cup. We took the lead through Leighton Stewart and then conceded a couple of goals just before half-time, which was really frustrating. But then we beat Hull 3-0. only scored in the 65th minute, and then after that, kind of the floodgates opened. And then we went on a really uncharacteristic run for us. We didn't score for 3 games. We drew against Plymouth, we drew against lost to Charlton, and also lost away to Swindon. Stephen Kelly scoring a 74th minute screamer after we'd had 2 goals disallowed for offside. We did actually try a slightly different formation at this point. We tried a 3-5-2 because we were getting a little bit, I think it was this one? This one. We were getting a little bit fed up of our wingers, inside forwards not really producing, so we tried to sort of overload the striking side of things more with George Hurst and I think it was Van Duyven playing off each other. Didn't work. We went back to the standard 4-3-3 and then beat Rochdale 1-0 in the EFL Trophy quarterfinals. George Hurst scored a 95th minute penalty against Bristol Rovers. He then also scored a 90th minute winner against Shrewsbury. And then we had Van Duyven and Clarkson scoring against Coventry. Van Duyven scoring again in a 1-1 draw against Accrington Stanley. And then this is where things start to get really good. Oxford United, who I think was 7th at this point, we beat 4-0 away with George Hurst scoring again. And then Jamie Bino-Gittins getting a hat-trick. And then we've just beat Brantford 4-0. Again, George Hurst this time getting 4. So yeah, things are coming really good with him now. And that brings us to today's game against third place Luton. Now, we currently have a game in hand over Swindon and Luton. 2 points clear at the top. Now, if we can beat Luton, even though they'll still have a game in hand over us, that will put us something like, what's that going to be, 16 points clear of them with 9 games to go. And I would like to think that that would pretty much guarantee us a promotion spot. Not mathematically, but I think it would be very difficult for us to slip up that much that we'll lose an automatic promotion spot. And no offence, Swindon, but I've just got to hope that you slip up as you play Wigan today. So this is the team we're going with today. You'll notice there's been a few subtle player role changes, particularly in the midfield. So we played Clarkson as an advanced playmaker now. We used to have a ball winner midfielder there with a deep line playmaker in Milivojevic or Bruguera sitting at the back here. What we've done is we actually just made this more of just a defensive role and this more of the playmaking role. I think that was partly why we were maybe struggling to create chances, because we just had a slightly too conservative midfield, as this just allows us to be a bit more adventurous. And we've still got Jensen Weir on the attacking central mid role. Then Belly is coming in for the not fully fit Van Duyven, and Bino-Gittins is carrying on the left with George Hurst up front. Phillips and Gibson are our go-to defensive partnership, with Scott in for once again the injured Nick Lima. Honestly, permanently injured. We will look to sell him in the summer if we're still here. I am kind of wanting to balance this game with a bit of trying to climb up the ladder as quickly as possible to get into the higher echelons of world football, to get us into European competitions. But at the same time, I also don't want to just get into this habit of jumping every season to a new club. But we'll just see what happens. I kind of want to wait until I'm approached now going forward, rather than just hopping to and from. So, game today against Luton Town. Like I said, I think if we can win, it would really put us in the driving seat for an automatic promotion spot. Good save. Ryan Pardo Roques has been a really good loan signing for us as well. I think if we'll get promoted, I think we'll probably look to keep him if we can next season. He's not the tallest goalkeeper, so his reach isn't the best at times, but he still makes some really good saves, just as we saw there. I think he's like 2nd in the clean sheets charts as well. Table, not charts. 2nd in the clean sheets table. Swindon are beating Wigan. Ed Hewison. I think we signed him from like Tranmere or something. Yeah, so since we signed George Hurst, Darren Evans seems to have really benefited from that, because he just seems to go on to score goals quite regularly now. Oh, Matthew Carson's injured, so Kamal Mia will come on, who's been very, considering I really liked the look of him when we took over. He was in on loan, and we extended that loan from Southampton. Wigan equalising, thank you very much. He's been really disappointing. Yeah, necessity has kind of meant that we carried on playing him at wing back sometimes, but I have tried to play him in the middle. Didn't really create much at all in that half. That was really quite poor. Need to start. George Hurst not having a great game. We need to start putting a bit more pressure on that Luton goal. So we'll go a bit more attacking, demand a bit more. Kane and Davis, that's all day that for Party Rockers. I'm sorry. Let's go a bit lower. I've just tweaked quite a few things with the tactic to try and get a bit more out of them. Right, Van Duyven, you can play. You can come on for George Hurst because he's not playing well, which is a real shame. Van Dalven. I don't know. I still don't know. Plenty of space for Scott. Plays it to Dembele. Poor pass. Leighton Clarkson. Kayembe with a shot tipped over from Shea. I think Shea is actually the top scorer this season. Top goal keeper, top clean sheet. So if we can win 1-0, do really good for Ryan Pardo Rockers. Yeah, we'll take off Clarkson because he is knackered. Is that our last change? Yeah, that's our last change. Perfect chance this to try and put a bit of distance between us and Swindon, because they're drawing, and obviously with them having that game in hand. Would have been an ideal opportunity to try and grab a win here and put a bit of distance between us. And it looks like they've just missed a penalty as well, Swindon. So, you know, this is a real... It's like the FM universe is trying to tell us, get the win. Well done, Phillips. Oh, Jensen. Man. This is going to peter out into a very pathetic draw. But you know what? At least we didn't lose, and at least Swindon didn't win. That game was a bit of a damp squib. That was really quite poor. We've got an EFL Trophy semi-final against Man United under 23s to play. Now, if we win that and get to the final, that'll be when I next bring the game back. But otherwise, if we lose that, I'll probably bring it back. It'll be towards the end of the season when we're hopefully going to be confirming ourselves as League One champions and going up into the Championship. Who knows whether we'll still be there or not next season. Yeah, sorry everyone for a bit of a disappointing episode. I just wanted to basically just drop in and catch up with everyone and let everyone know where we're at. I'm so glad we got George Hurst. He's just love him. He's just my Georgie Hurst. What a lad. 28 years old. Be lovely if we can get him into the Championship with us, and if he can bag a few goals there, I'd love it. I'd love to see it. In terms of, so he's currently second in the goal scoring charts behind Jonathan Lecco. Yeah, there's Ryan, second on the clean sheets. And I think that's it really. Nat Phillips and Lewis Gibson have been doing well. Jeff McSweeney over at Swindon, also having a blinder of a season. Let's see what's going on at Swindon with some of their players. Yeah, Darren Evans, like I said, since George has left, he's really come on. They also signed Ricky J. Jones, which I thought was quite a cool little signing. And Ed Hewison, who we signed, is doing quite well. Pretty much everyone here is someone, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but pretty much everyone we signed. Gareth Turner, I feel like we signed him as well, youngster. We didn't sign this guy. Finn Stevens was there when we got there. Ryan Schofield we signed. He's having a good season. Stephen Kelly we signed. Louis Reed was there. Jake Cooper we didn't sign. Paul Glatzel we signed. Festi Abasele we signed. Festi's having a good season. Ben Hockenhall we signed. Pretty much everyone we signed. They didn't play. Kane Ramsey's wanting to leave. I was really like the look of him when we signed him. He looked really good when we got him from Leyton Orient. But yeah, not really had much chance. Luke Leahy still going strong. Mark Wilson still. Richard Breen having a good season. 7 goals, 3 assists. Eze Ojo we signed him. Nigel Skelton we signed him. But they're still out on loan. How's Nigel coming on? Okay, he's doing alright out at Ebbsfleet, I think he's at. Yeah, decent going. We haven't had our youth intake yet, but if I remember rightly, it's not looking good. Yeah, good intake, but I think a lot of this is probably going to be dross, to be honest with you. But yeah, I will see you for that game against potentially in the EFL final, but if not, it'll be sort of around here, Walsall, Portsmouth time maybe, because there's a chance it could go to the last day of the season, but we'll just have to wait and see. Take care, everyone. I've been TJ90. I hope you enjoyed the episode, even though the game was terrible, terrible game. Hopefully next time it'll be a bit more exciting. I'll see you then. Bye.